Is anybody online out there? I see you making cookies at home. You want to share those? Okay, if not, we'll close this. If we can always, if they find them later, they can. It's like romper room. All right. We'll close this portion of the meeting. We'll now move on to communications. Superintendent, do you have any communications? We'll now move on to student report. Do we have any student reports? Okay, it's a busy time of the year. And I will just say one thing for the students. We had our Chamber of Commerce represented by the businesses. Brandon was there. And I would say that 1 out of every 2 students were from Leominster getting an award from the business community. And these came from all over I forget how many total there were, but Leominster was well represented. Superintendent, anything for your report?
Sure, quick, so much fun. Field trips, field days, book fairs, you know. I'm sure you're all opening your wallets. It's very busy, very busy. Just finished 2 amazing proms. Had the seniors the week before, and then this past Saturday were rave reviews, wonderful behaviors as students visit. I want to really thank the chaperones and the teachers that supported students putting on such a classy. They looked wonderful. So that was a great celebration. I also had another theater production this week,
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday through. The theater team here is amazing. So if anybody hasn't taken advantage of one of the performances, please do so. The students work so hard from beginning to end. They own every piece of, and it shows. Their productions are exquisite. So thank you to our theater team again. CTI last week had their senior awards dinner. Students were recognized and honored by each one of their shops. It was a tremendous night, and thanks to culinary provided the food for the evening, and our graphics department did all print for the. So it's really nice when we can keep. And now we are moving on to our graduations. We have LCE's graduation on June 1st at 1 o'clock at City Hall. And then we have our graduation scheduled for June 3rd, Doyle Field, 10 o'clock. Those 500 students will be walking into that field, and it is a mass when you see it. It's something really to be proud of. So we're looking for a beautiful day, and I hope all. Thank you.
And I know they'll ask us rain date if there is one,
June 4th.
and if there's a rain day on June.
We're not talking about it.
Just testing. you. Every
It's
kid will be
usually
looking
a
for
hot
June
day.
5th off.
Yeah, usually,
Yeah, it's usually in 90 degrees.
Okay, thank you. Now we have a couple of presentations. The single digit virtual learning grant.
Could ask myself. Well, you've heard about this grant once before.
I never got that document you said I was
It was an
looking for.
email,
Was it? Did somebody in my office see it?
probably.
Everything goes into spam now. Everything. If it's sent to more than one person, it automatically, we have so many filters. We have filters for the filters, and it's hard to get anything anymore.
We're really excited to move this forward. This would really be a nice bookend to alternative offerings for students that at this point, or any venture during their career here at LHS just need to be virtually and outside of the building, various reasons. Michelle's working very hard to get this through. It's time sensitive. So if you have any questions, she knows it inside and out. Please don't.
All right, let her rip. We're gonna see pictures and cool stuff. Is this a peek inside of the digital? I read it right, though. Yeah.
Form out.
Mic on? Want you to be heard. Digital revolution. Here, take mine, Steve.
Sure, I'll start. Okay, good. So if nobody heard me at first, I'll start over again. That's fine. We submitted a single district virtual school application proposal. We had talked about this, presented to the school committee at the beginning, not the beginning of the school year, but probably a few months ago. It is a quick turnaround for an application to submit for a single district virtual school application, but the initial proposal has been submitted. And DESE has gotten back to us already with some feedback. I just wanted to go through the initial proposal that we submitted just to kind of refresh everyone's memory on this. So the student population that we're looking to really serve with this single district virtual school application is students that are requesting additional learning options beyond the traditional models that we have at Leominster High School, CTEI, or even LCE. This is going to service students grades 9 through 12. This is going to be very flexible with our scheduling. It's going to allow for a lot of availability for students who maybe are not able to come in for a traditional school day. They might have additional responsibilities or have some scheduling conflicts. We are really looking to re-engage students from Leominster. This is only going to be open to Leominster resident students. We're looking to personalize learning. Students who have opted out of school or maybe have done a different track right now, we're looking to re-engage them in schooling. And these are the students that we're looking to really target for this virtual school option. We're really looking to have an individualized learning plan to personalize the learning for each one of these students, because we know a traditional one-size-fit-all model is not going to work for these students. So just to kind of recap on what really personalized learning is our aim to really customize learning for each student's strength and their skills. We're really going to take the time to know students, to sit down, to individualize those learning plans, find out what their interests are. They are responsible for all Massachusetts state requirements. They are going to be responsible to take the MCAS. They will be responsible for the core requirements of high school students. But we are really going to make sure that they are re-engaged in school and play to their interests. So our next steps, based upon the feedback that we received from DESE, we are really going through that feedback step by step. We have until June 12th to submit another proposal to DESE. We have a lot of stakeholders that are involved in this. We are getting feedback from all of those stakeholders, and we plan on reworking this proposal, hopefully throughout the summer, with the support of the school committee. So we're here in front of you tonight to seek your approval to move forward with this single virtual school, and to really get the final vote to really push this through. We feel like this is really the next step for what students need in Leominster to catch those students that we're not catching right now. So we're looking for a statement of assurance, and what that statement of assurance is saying to us is that we are going to be able to form this additional school. It will follow all of the Massachusetts guidelines for creating an additional school, but that's our next steps in this process.
And do you need the vote tonight?
It'd be great if we could have the vote tonight.
Are you able to bring us through a link to show us an example of what one of the lesson plans would be? Steve, are you able to do that to get us on? Is
So-
there a sample somewhere that we could see?
So we would be using like an Edgenuity platform
Mhm.
for students. So we would be individualizing that. So depending upon like if you were coming in as like a sophomore and you needed, geometry or chemistry, whatever your history was, we'd be able to individualize that learning plan for you. You still have to take your gym credits. You still are responsible for MCAS. So we would have to build that out for
Am I
you.
gonna see somebody if I go on my laptop? Am I gonna see a person on the other end?
You're going to be able to see a person on the other end. Maybe not every single day, but we would build out a plan for you. So you had frequent check-ins. What we want to make sure is that we're not losing students in this process.
Are we gonna see visual things? If I take history, am I gonna go to, the battleground in Concord? Am I gonna go to Williamsburg? Am I gonna see all that?
Yes.
I can ride, we'll do a bus trip.
These online versions are
So,
just so interactive.
Yeah.
So.
So that's, because this is my dream for 25 years is every kid learns different. I'm probably,
Absolutely.
in retrospect, a Montessori kid
Mhm.
or somebody, a hands-on. If tonight I left and somebody was trying to reboot a phone that apparently they lost the password to, you can tell me all day how to do it. We'll be here for a month. But pop the video up and let me follow it.
Mhm.
And I've got it. I mean, I probably, won't, 6 months from now, I'll forget how to do it. So I have to go back to the video. Everybody learns differently. And I had this discussion with the superintendent. About a month ago, I ran to a parent at City Hall and her kids have done very well learning online. But in certain courses, they need to be in front of somebody. She does a lot of trips and
Mhm.
taking them on visits to places and, almost like homeschooling. I think at the end of the day, this is the model that is going to be out there for a variety of reasons. And as an example, I keep saying, you'll be able to see an astronaut who just came back from a trip, talking to 1 million people, some little podcast, only visual. They show you everything, bring you inside the capsule and show you it. So I think the future is as many opportunities as we can provide, many of these options. Because some students can't learn online, they really need to be in front of somebody, but everybody's different. Certain, one subject you may pick up on real quick, not need any help. Somebody else may need somebody in front of you. I mean, it's really the most amount of options we can.
Okay, some of these students may have a hybrid model. They may have online, they may come in for a class, they may come in for. Right, so we're thinking in the fall, as students come in, we'll bring you different schedules. Some students need virtual and not. Some need to be. So that's what.
So the menu is going to get larger as to what we offer
Absolutely.
students. New technology, right?
And we're hoping also to pull some of our students back that have gone out to other online options, Teka, Greenfield
That's what I think this
Academy.
family- And they're very happy with it. I'm like, we got to stay up with the competition, right?
Absolutely.
Brandon was next.
It looks like for next year, you're projecting up to 80 students. Do you think we're gonna fill that year one?
We might, they might not all be full-time, but we might have some students that are taking advantage of some sort of this model.
And is there a hope at some point to expand it beyond Leominster students if we
This,
see this taking off really successfully and we can,
Still good.
yeah.
Or actually, so I think the next
true.
plan is to bring it
Okay,
before we go out.
okay. Yeah, that
Operate
makes
to
sense.
make-
Middle school.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure solid plan, that it's running, it's working, up with it before we offer to anyone.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense.
If I may, the requirements for this are that it would only be Leominster residents.
Okay.
So there
That's
may,
our application is Leominster. Sure.
there may be another option for us to apply for a virtual school like Teka or Greenfield at a later date, but this one that we're asking you to consider is just for Leominster residents.
And you're gonna get.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
No, and you're gonna get, I bet you're gonna get more than 80 students. Some people may take one course. And you allow that? I mean, if I wanted to end my day at 2 PM or 1 and then I go to work or something, and then my last class is history or English or geometry, that's fine.
How are students chosen? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
poor Melissa's been.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it's-
Grow something, Melissa. That's why they have.
And partially was answered by Paula about the hybrid option, but another question is say you're taking junior English, is the junior English online going at the same pace potentially, so that if you have a student who's out on a medical leave or something like that, they can move in and out.
So we had, I pulled some numbers. We had 34 students who were outplaced just this year alone. So that is something that we're going to explore as well. We really need to be looking at that to help those students who were out for various reasons and to make sure that they're staying on track with their teachers. So we might be looking at taking those classes that they're being offered in school
Right.
synchronously right now and being able to offer those on a online platform too, so they can stay up to date with their classmates.
And then the other question is I'm hoping this is student or family led and not necessarily being used as
So this all, this.
another option for students that can't be in school
Mhm.
for negative.
Families need to opt into this. Sal? I'm
Yeah,
curious.
kind of fall, yeah. Like how, like what are the requirements to be, like, how do we vet a person that is needed compared to somebody else?
So this is all family, families opt into this, families and students opt into this. This is something that we're really gonna work on is the, like the application process over the summer, June and July. We're hoping to go have a good application process for families to come in, knowing what the requirements are, knowing what the engagement process will look like, knowing that families are going to, there is going to be some face-to-face engagements that are required. We don't want to lose students in this process and just have them be online at home. But that is really our next steps of building this out and really looking at what this model is going to have for parameters around it.
Now, is there a plan in place that you see a student falling way behind and it's working out for them that, all right, this isn't for you, we gotta get you back in the
Yes,
classroom?
yeah.
The data will tell you that, right?
The data, yeah. It's
Diagnostic
going to be a
data.
lot of data tracking on this. That.
Artificial intelligence.
Chat GPT, yeah. Yeah. Our budget, yeah, it's gonna be based upon if we end up having, 80 students, that might determine staffing numbers. If we have less than that, that will also determine staffing numbers.
We have some capacity in that we have an alternative, a quasi-alternative program. We also have LCE. So we've dabbled with this, but I do believe economy of scale in that we may have teachers who are teaching in 2 different schools. Like we do with CTE and high school at this point.
I was going to make a motion to give a statement of assurance for
Okay,
this.
there's a motion. It's a second by Mr. Ron. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Ron.
It came out the amount of enrollment. It's not 60. Max that you're projecting. 80, 80, 100, 100, 100. No matter how you, that's 460.
That's per year. That's per calendar.
Per year.
80, and then next year,
It's not another 80.
Not another 80.
Yeah. The cap.
They may have some dropout and then some.
Some graduating.
No, you don't.
That's a good question.
What about the third? When?
Successful.
Like in a couple of years, they're going to increase it to 100 enrollment.
What about the 50?
Or 100.
What about the bottom part?
Of course, in space.
Only 100 people out of all those.
This
That-
is-
It's just an application.
And it's just an estimate.
Able to,
We might be able, no, we might be able to increase it.
Because if you read.
it's a projection.
I realize that. If you print anticipated enrollments of 175. 175 out of that.
Anticipated. Right. That's the original 80, and then you're looking at a growth of like 2% per year. This brings you to that number.
Out over here, where it says. Targeting first year 15, second year. Then over here. 15. What is it? I guess basically I'm asking a bad question.
No,
Can I maybe ask another question, which is, do we have the ability to scale upwards with DESI if the case?
Yeah.
And scale
Okay.
down as well. So it's
Perfect.
very
Well,
flexible.
I think that
Yeah.
might help answer some questions you had.
I mean, this just provides us more options. Then add the fact that all the colleges now are offering free courses to students, which they have, but in many cases have to take online unless you go to Pittsburgh State or Mount Wachusett. It's just adding more tools to the box. And you know what? Nothing's ever going to replace a good teacher.
Right.
Ever.
Never.
Right? Nobody ever will replace that experience.
So can we
Coming
call the
from-
question?
Coming from the Leominster Public School System, I never had one bad teacher. Never.
Josh seconded?
Anybody else? Questions? We have a first and second, all in favor? Those opposed? Thank you. Okay. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Nice job. All right, now we're gonna move into some health and wellness. present- Pass out the chocolate chip, low fat, dark chocolate. chip ice cream. I mean,
I
cookies.
just had a cookie.
All right, pass out the tofu.
I did too.
How about fruits and vegetables? Okay.
Can't afford them. Bananas are like 89 cents a
What's
pound.
a
I can't
vegetable?
even, I have to eat a half a banana. Afford it.
So, but we'll get into that when I get
Okay, beautiful. Let's
to the wellness. So first, I want to thank everyone for having me here so that I could present. I'm presenting on two different topics. The first one is the health offices district-wide, and then the second one is the wellness committee highlights and about our new triennial assessment. So starting with the health office, I had sent everyone earlier the district numbers from last year. We don't have our final numbers for this year, but I have a few of them. So our number one diagnosis is asthma. We have 828 students with diagnosed asthma, and there are certainly more that are not diagnosed. And then our second biggest health issue is our food allergies, 587 students diagnosed. And these food allergies can be anything. It could be peanuts, tree nuts, strawberries, mango. It could literally be anything. Then we have for the behavioral emotional conditions, our number one is the ADHD for 564 students, and anxiety is the second one for 226 students. I want to say before I get to the visits that the total visits for last year was 59,194 with a return to class rate of 92%, which is amazing. This year, I do have the numbers so far. So far, as of April, we've had a total of 57,015 student visits with a return to class rate of 93%. So 2 more months of reporting to go. Oh, it is. So, so for our visits, the most visits and the most timely, well, the thing that takes the most amount of time from the nurses is our diabetes, our type 1 diabetics. We are seeing those students multiple times a day. We're checking them, their glucometers, their CGMs, we're doing blood sugars before meals. We're giving them their insulin, carb counting. So it's a total of 10,301 visits for last year total. And then second to that was the ADHD with 8,446 visits, most of which are related to medications. And then asthma, 7,506. And most of them, once again, is their inhalers and being assessed in regards to their breathing and their activities within the classroom and gym. Our total number of kids with special needs, 1,515. And then for insurance, it's 50%, just about 50% have private insurance versus public insurance. we have started a new thing this year, Medicaid billing for state mandated health screenings of hearing and vision. And only hearing and vision can be submitted for billing. A total of $3.38 per hearing vision and $9 for vision screening. And so I'm hoping, I don't have the numbers yet, but I'm hoping that shows a increase in Medicaid reimbursements to the city. We have new AEDs in all of our schools, thanks to a firefighter grant. And so that's pretty amazing. So we've had AEDs in every school, but these are brand new. They're Wi-Fi. They talk to the fire department. If someone leaves the door open, it tells them. If the battery is low, it tells them. If it gets opened, and we start using it, it tells them. The great thing about this is if we have someone in cardiac arrest and we have the AED in place, and even though we've called 911, they can see in real time what the cardiac arrhythmias are, so that when the paramedics come, they can better treat that individual in real time.
Amazing.
Yeah. So medication, so going down from that, medication administration, daily meds, we had 219 prescriptions, and for the PRNs, 3,852 prescriptions. And those are your Tylenol and Motrins and whatnot. We administered for the daily meds, 12,302 prescriptions last year. Number one was our psychotropics, which is for our ADHD kids, 8,994. PRN doses, we administer a total of 5,201. And this is mostly, once again, your Tylenol, your Motrin. Screenings for SBIRT, we screened 768 students. SBIRT is the screen, brief intervention, and referral to treatment. This is in grades 8 and 10. And it is a way to talk to them about drugs and alcohol and how much they have used within the past year. And most of our kids are really good. And those that are having issues with alcohol and drugs, we're able to refer them and get them the services that they need. BMIs are done in grades 1, 4, 7, and 10. Hearing grades K1, 2, 3, 7, and 10. Vision, pre-K, K1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 10. And posturals, which is the old scoliosis checks, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We are hoping, again, that the state will change that to just once in middle school. So we have a new, well, it's a new grant as of this is year number 3 of it. It's CSHS, which is the nurse grant. And with that, we get $120,000 per year for health services. And they have their own performance measures that we're supposed to try to attain, and they're really great goals. The first one was decreasing the percentage of students that are chronically absent. Well, COVID hit, we flunked that one, and we're still going to work on that. I can't say anything more than that. The next one was the increase in percentage of ELL students assessed for unmet health needs. The target goal for that is 90%. Last year, we saw 80.27% and assessed them for unmet needs. The third goal was to decrease the percentage of students who are overweight or obese. Once again, COVID hit. Something to be said about kids staying at home. And, when they came back last year, they weren't able for the year prior to get out and exercise safely at home. And it really did show. So we did have 46.5% that were overweight or obese last year. According to this year's data, it is down to 42.5%. So we are making improvements now that the kids are in school. The fourth one was increasing the percentage of students who are identified experiencing symptoms of depression and or anxiety or suicidal ideation and are not currently receiving behavioral health care that are referred for mental health services by school health counseling staff. Last year, it was 17.39%. We are working on it. The target goal is 90%. And that's a tough goal because some of the kids are coming in daily for stomach aches or anxiety related. So maybe we saw them 40 times and they got one referral, and that would make sense. Fifth one is increase in the percentage of students who are identified as homeless or marginally housed or assessed for unmet healthcare needs. And once again, we did see and assess 82%. Sixth was deleted. Seventh goal was increase in percentage of students that have specialized healthcare needs with an individualized healthcare plan. And we do have 36.3% that have an IHP. And then an increase in percentage of students who fail a vision screening with a referral made, meaning that we did the hearing or vision screening or any of the others, and we sent a letter home that said, your child failed vision screening, please take them to the eye doctor. A lot of times we contact parents 3-4 times, and sometimes we get the referrals back. Last year we got 11.95%, and we're right around on the same track so far, but we're still making an effort to get those referrals back. The state's goal is for us to get 85% back. Some of our biggest goals is hiring and retaining qualified staff. We have 11 nurses in the schools. We still have 2 open positions in the schools. 6 of my nurses are new to school nursing. So the other 5 are seasoned nurses, and it really does take a lot in resources to really assist our new staff and helping them to stay and to be really good school nurses. So it does take a lot, and we're working hard. We do have a mentor program for them, and we are working hard and trying to get those other 2 positions filled. Also, our sub nurses, we lost everyone during COVID. We do have 3 sub nurses right now who help us out when they can. And then trying to make sure that we can maintain those DPH medication delegation requirements, because they're asking for us to have 1 nurse for every 500 kids in each school. And they became more stringent with their regulations, and they are now having me submit the MedDel paperwork every year instead of every other year like they had prior. So we're working on that. And right now we're working with a staffing agency to help us with staffing and doing what we can. Any questions about the health offices?
Just really quick, does it have
Yes.
to be an RN or can it be an LPN?
To be a school nurse, you have to be an RN, BSN prepared. We can take associate degrees if you're in a BSN program. I can hire LPNs for subs though.
All right, any questions?
It's kind of a trend coming. ADHD, anxiety, previously compared to.
We have kids that are needier, and a lot of it is social emotional. Anxiety is increased, depression is increased. So it's really difficult because these kids take more time in the health office. You can't necessarily say, have a glass of water, go to the bathroom, go back to class. You have to really work more with them.
And I think the second piece of that is, why are we and this isn't a question of your team and their ability, but why are we seeing such a low percentage of referrals being completed?
So I think that the referrals probably, well, to mental health counselors, I think that a lot of them are sending them to the social worker or guidance counselor. They're just not documenting it. And part of that is because we have a lot of new nurses who may be just making the phone calls and not clicking on that they sent them there.
I hope that's the reason. Maybe good to figure out a way to make sure that is happening. You know,
Yeah.
because, well, that's be part of it. Part of it.
And usually it's a collaborative effort. It's the school nurse, the parent, the guidance, administration, the teacher, and everyone being on board, because I might say that someone looks like they have a lot of anxiety, and if perhaps the parent, and it could be anyone in the picture, says, nope, we're fine, then we do the best we can. We do the best we can with what we got.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm going to go on to the wellness committee highlights, which is a lot more fun.
You're gonna do highlights, right?
Highlights.
This is, I mean, you are, right? Highlights. of
Just
this.
the
This is
highlights.
Like 15, 20 pages.
I'm not going to do all 15 pages. I gave those to you
Thank you.
so that you would have it.
And I was able to
I have my
Look at
one
this.
pager.
over and over. One of the issues that just jumped, look at type 1 diabetes. Look at the ratio of how many students have type 1 and 2 diabetes. That's 40.
Students were overweight last year. Sorry.
Yes. It was almost
that-
50%. Yes.
Is that up from before the pandemic too?
Yes, it
Got it.
was up from, so we were high before and then we became higher after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But kids were sitting at home. They
Had to
didn't
eat
have
healthy.
access
I know.
to physical activity.
Even when you think you're eating healthy,
All right, you're right. I gained a few pounds too.
you might not be. Even when you think you're eating healthy, you might not be necessarily eating healthy. Do a good job marketing bad food to people that make them think it's healthy.
Well, and then if our kids are left home alone, it's foods that are easy for them to prepare. And the foods that are easy to prepare are higher in carbohydrates and sodium and sugars. So
That's what I said. It really is. $4 a pound for grapes. You hear that?
Wait for the eggs.
It's grazing.
okay, so go into the wellness committee.
All right.
So okay, so
That shows your,
it was on top of the wellness committee thing.
What
So you
page?
should have gotten 2 packets.
yeah, I know.
There, I got it. Well, after page 24.
Okay, so wellness committee, for those of you who are new, started 15 years ago. It was state mandated. We meet 4 times a year. Right now it's virtually. The great thing about that is you can be in your office and still meet with us. The members include principals, assistant principals, physical ed instructors, nurses. Chartwell's is an active member, Leominster Board of Health. We have Luck, and we also have other agencies that come in as well. And we're still looking for more. I really need student and parents to join. And our purpose is to reduce childhood obesity, now that we're talking about it. So in the beginning of the year, we came up with our own goals about increasing student involvement through intramural sports, introducing programs such as Box in the elementary school, which is a free program, focusing more on nutrition and nutrition equity, and increasing 2% of students into the healthy range in 1 year. And the healthy range is from 5% to 85%. So in regards to that, we are starting to track our intramural sports. Skyview has been really on top of that, and we're really getting those kids in. They're having fun. They love to move, and it's free. Our healthy BMI range has improved when comparing between this year and last year. So we're working in regards to that. We had a grant written by Growing Places for 2 plant growing towers to grow our own vegetables. And Skyview has already set theirs up. There's also lesson plans involved with that that go with the state core for nutrition education. And Northwest is planning on putting theirs up in the fall. They already have a teacher who's going to be the champion. And once again, we're going to assist them with the lesson plans and with the whole process. And it's Growing Places. They have people who come out and help us. We did have a nutrition fair at Francis Drake. Unfortunately, it rained that night, so our turnout could have been better, but we had it. And we also had wellness fairs at LHS in Samoset, and we will at Skyview on May 26th. This is the first time in 3 years that we have had a wellness fair. And one of the kids at Samoset looked in and said, "Is this free? Am I allowed to go in?" And it was just really cute because they had no idea what this was. So then we got into you must do this triennial assessment by June. So we did the policy review, and it was myself, Michelle Oliveri, and Colleen Gilhooly. And then we got our scorecard for that. And then we did the aligned practices, the WellSat I. And we decided to send out Google surveys to each and every school to find out what's really going on. So some things were for Chartwell, some things were for the principal, and some was for the staff and the gym teachers. So we got a scorecard in regards to section 1 and 2, which I do have here for you to look at. And there was a lot of promise that we have in regards to this. So we did have a couple things that were strong and aligned for both policies and practice, and meaning that it's in our policy, but we're also doing it. And that was our families for, eligibility for free and reduced lunch. And of course, now everyone gets free and reduced lunch. Actually, everyone gets free lunch and free breakfast. And the district wellness committee, and the fact that we meet 4 times a year. So then this next section is our implementation plan. And that's really, we identified through the assessment that our wellness policy could be better communicated throughout the district. So we're coming up with ways to better communicate our policies in the beginning of the year and throughout the year so that everyone's on the same page, including the families, the staff, and the administrators. We're also exploring physical activity alternatives for those who are unable to participate in physical activities for whatever the reason, so that they have something else to do that's still somewhat physical, but so that they're meeting the guidelines, but it's within their abilities. And then section 3 is updating policies. Now, about this is there's a lot. When I first started writing policies 13 years ago, it was supposed to be a broad statement, just a statement. Now the state wants every little thing in the policy. And so it's more like a procedure and protocol. We are doing so many of these things, even though they are not written in the policy. We are already doing them. So it's just reviewing and going through and updating our policy to reflect what we're already doing and what's mandated by the state. And then section 4 was our opportunities for growth. And we do have many opportunities for growth. We were told to focus on those that are federally mandated, and these include nutrition education, which these food towers will help towards, and but there's a lot of things that kids are doing, that teachers are doing. So they're going to Shoalen Farms and apple picking. Let's work on making sure that the standards for nutrition are put into that field trip because I strongly feel that we are doing a lot of this. We're just not taking credit for it. And then offering professional development regarding standards-based nutrition education. And noting that competitive foods that are being sold in some schools during the day as fundraisers, really working with the PTO in regards to addressing what they're doing for fundraising, because we haven't been able to sell candy bars for 15 years now, and we still run into telling people they can't sell candy bars. So that's really about it. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Approval of the minutes, May 1st, 2023. All in favor? Those opposed? Any policy subcommittees? Okay. Any other committees, finance updates?
Finance update?
Thank you. Vote on Keystone representative,
That's usually. Nope.
CAPS representative. We'll take them in block. Vote on CAPS. All right, we'll take them in a block. Thank you. There's a car alarm. Get you an EV car with artificial intelligence that runs it. All right, so we have two positions. Is there a vote? A motion?
I'll make a.
Go ahead, Grant.
No, Eileen, you start.
All right. All right, and we have a second? All right, all in favor? So we have a vote on Keystone representative and CAPS. Vote on the Washington trip.
Out of district.
Okay. So motion to approve the Washington DC trip. How exciting. I wish I could go. Second, those all in favor? I think we went to that,
Second.
we went to some, our trip was, we went to a park in Worcester. That was it. Kids get to go to Washington. Good for them. Acceptance of a donation. Do we have a donation to accept?
Class of 1972 donated 4,100.
Nice. Okay,
With your approval.
motion? Second? All in favor? Obsolete equipment,
Dust machine system that is no longer in use, so they'd like to get rid of it.
dust,
Dust.
you know, ventilation,
It's in automotive.
collects
Time to
dust.
go.
Some people collect things. They collect. Very interesting. Anybody wants it, you can bid on. Do I have a motion? Eileen, a second? All right, Sal, thank you. All in favor? The rest of you can suck dust. Vote on the last day of school. This could be the most important vote.
I have
of the
received
day.
many an email on this. Can we have it a half day?
All right, what is this? That's a conflict of interest. You can't. You're gonna benefit from it. You're gonna benefit from it.
We motioned for it to be a half day.
Yes, please.
Half
I'll
day?
motion to have last.
And a
day of
second. All right,
school.
so you could be the second, Sal. I was just kidding. All right, when is it gonna be?
June 23rd.
23rd.
Half day.
These years get longer. Let's protest. All right, all in favor? Those opposed? New roll business?
Just information.
Yes. Yes. All right. So the first one is in regards to the,
Custodians.
yes. All right, you heard the recommendation. Is there a second by Ross? Any questions or comments? There shouldn't be. I'm sorry, Josh. Sorry.
You can Ross from now on.
All in favor? Thank you.
And the second,
Second vote is the
Sal.
Pending
Pending comment.
FY 20.
Okay, independent contractors for 2.5. Is there a second?
I'll make a motion.
I never did the second.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Opposed? What else do we have? That's it? Anybody want to make a motion? You didn't get through making the first. Buy this man a dust collector.
Have one.
All right, all in favor? Rest of you can stay here.
Thank you.
Where's your gavel?